So, it turns out that we may be right. In our last video, we said we questioned the timing of Phillip Schofield's bombshell revelation about his forthcoming tell-all memoir and that he is in talks with Piers Morgan about a stint on GB News. We are suspicious that this news comes only weeks before the results of the independent inquiry into the circumstances surrounding his affair with a young runner are due to be published. Initial news reports spoke of a new twist to the saga, that former This Morning and now GB News presenter Eamonn Holmes and his wife Ruth Lansgford had not been quizzed by Jane Mulcahy KC, who has been drafted in by ITV bosses to lead the external review of the facts surrounding the scandal, despite her report being published very soon. Insiders said it was puzzling given Phillip Schofield's co-host Holly Willoughby and ITV boss Kevin Lygo have already been interviewed. However, within 24 hours, the news headlines told a different story. In an article by The Mirror the next morning, it was said that Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Lansgford have been questioned as part of the Phillip Schofield inquiry, despite recent reports. Initially, a source approached the Sun newspaper saying that Eamonn has extensive knowledge of the atmosphere at This Morning and has said before he thought Phillip's affair was covered up. The fact he's not been approached is leading to confusion as he could be key in helping engender change at ITV. If he and Ruth aren't asked about what they know, it appears the investigation into This Morning and what went on may not be as thorough as people first believed it would be. The Mirror, though, interestingly states that a source has since told them that the report isn't true. So, what does this tell us? Well, as we said in our last video, in our opinion, Phillip Schofield's revelation about a tell-all memoir, together with confirmation of the reason for his meeting at the Little Bird restaurant in Chiswick with Talk TV presenter Vanessa Feltz, which could result in a potential gig on GB News rival channel Talk TV, could be some kind of threat. In other words, watch what you say about me at the inquiry or you'll regret it when I put pen to paper. Could he be directing that potential threat at Eamonn Holmes? What could Phillip Schofield have on him, and more importantly, what could Eamonn Holmes have on him? Perhaps there is more to Eamonn's very apparent hatred of him than first meets the eye. With the recent news report backtracking and now saying that Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Lansgford are indeed going to be questioned, it seems to us that Phillip Schofield could indeed be very concerned as to what they might reveal. Considering Eamonn and Ruth's close friendship with the young runner at the heart of the Schofield scandal, who incidentally seems to have been forgotten about amidst the furore, it's safe to say that their input to the investigation is of the utmost importance. Eamonn, during an interview with GB News presenter Dan Wootton, revealed that the younger man, who has not been publicly named in the mainstream media, had been badly hurt by Schofield, and suggested he was a victim of the man he describes as a chief narcissist. He called the younger man lovely, and a really good talented fella, and claimed he heard from a reliable source that the runner would arrive via taxi from Schofield's home on Friday mornings after they went out on Thursday nights, which were apparently called Playtime Thursdays. Holmes went on to claim the young man was in a bad way, and he and his wife Ruth Lansgford kept an eye on him and that he would phone them often for comfort. He said, "We never intruded, we just asked if he was okay, and we were here if he needed support. He felt alone and no one was looking after him. But there was pressure on him." Eamonn also said he seemed to go through a lot of money in his life, and he would use them for other jobs and help them, and he was always very, very reliable. But he needed a lot of money in his life, for whatever reason. The only thing I ever knew was that, oh, they are very close, oh, Phillip's boyfriend, whatever. The lad would never admit anything like that to us. We never overtly asked him. But what I do know is he would particularly seek comfort. You know, he would phone often. I remember on my 60th birthday, and I was in Belfast, and he phoned Ruth and Ruth handed the phone to me. And he was very close to Ruth. And we never intruded into what was wrong, we just asked him if he was okay, if he needed help, if he needed support, and we were there if he wanted that. But the question is, why was Eamonn mentioning his 60th birthday? After a quick check, we noticed that Eamonn Holmes' birthday celebrations were reported in The Mirror on the 9th of December 2019. Nearly 4 years ago. It stated that Eamonn revealed he had unwrapped something very different as he turned 60, a rather grand portrait of himself. He paraded the artwork to his Instagram followers, and they seemed to like the giant piece. The article, strangely, goes on, telling of a time when his wife Ruth lost it with him 1 year. He said, "When Ruth and I first started dating, she gave me 44 presents and I gave her 5. She is addicted to Christmas. Then there's the year we didn't talk. I'd been busy working on GMTV and doing 3 quiz shows a day. Ruth told me not to worry about presents for her, so I gave her an envelope of money, and she threw the turkey dinner across the table and right down my front. Eamonn also announced in his interview with Dan Wootton that not only should Phillip go, but Holly Willoughby should follow him out the door. It's a total cover-up, he said. Those in authority had to know. They had to know what was going on, and they thought they would dodge the bullet, which they did, and they do constantly. All I'm here to do is to speak for people who haven't got a voice. I'm speaking on behalf of them. Addressing Phillip directly, Eamonn said, "You let your fame and power corrupt you, and that's where we're at today." And then he questioned why he suddenly confessed to lying about the affair when asked if he believed anything else could come out, but added there was an incredible duty of care towards the former runner, who he said life is tough for now. Interestingly, Dan Wootton himself, who has also been embroiled in a scandal of his own, claimed he left ITV after being told he would be pulled off air if The Sun kept writing stories about Schofield, as he worked at the paper at the time, and chose not to renew his contract with the network. He went on to claim the relationship was known by virtually every staff member both on and off screen, and he asked for an investigation to be launched before leaving ITV. So, could Eamonn Holmes and his wife Ruth Lansgford know a lot more about Schofield's relationship with the young runner than he first let on? We think so. Could the timing of Phillip's tell-all memoir revelation have something to do with them now having an input in the independent investigation? We think so. Strangely, if you look over the newspaper reports from June, the news of Phillip Schofield's memoir isn't that much of a revelation, and that's why we think the timing of the announcement is more interesting than the revelation itself. You'll have probably noticed that the usually outspoken Piers Morgan has remained suspiciously quiet throughout the whole affair. In fact, in one of the few times he has spoken of the Phillip Schofield scandal, was to beg, in his words, the baying mob to lay off, fearing for struggling Phillip and calling for the relentless persecution of Phillip Schofield to stop. However, one very revealing article from 2 months ago, dated June 29th, is of particular interest, in which Piers Morgan said of Schofield, "He'll be back." He told The Sun that he felt for Schofield and that the world went completely nuts over the story, and suggested he could come back with a book or even join him on Talk TV. "I've been in touch with Phillip and I think he's struggling," Morgan said at an award ceremony in London. "It's tough to leave any big job, let alone when it's a big scandal, but he'll be back," he said. "I think he can bounce back." Morgan said the star had been honest about his mistake. He also said he believed in second chances and had been given one himself. "Maybe he will write a book, or join me on Talk TV. Who knows?" So, to conclude, we think Eamonn and Ruth's contribution to the inquiry will make for interesting reading. Will they scupper Phillip Schofield's comeback plans, and will that memoir ever get written? If it does, will the man, who has been a hot topic in households the length and breadth of the country, come out fighting with revenge on his mind? Could Phillip Schofield have something on Eamonn Holmes that could see the GB News presenter fighting to save his own reputation? If so, what on earth could it be? Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the Blinkerhole. For entertainment purposes only. Keep up to date with our latest investigations and hit the join button. If you like what we do, send us a super thanks. Official Blinkerhole merchandise is available in store.